Today, we have Ashley and Grayson. They got a couple of amazing things going for them. Number one, they own a Cirrus 820.
Of course.
Number two, they have their own YouTube channel called Our Full-Time Adventure. OUR.
OUR.
And third, you guys are actually the brand ambassadors for the Cirrus truck camper line for nüCamp.
Yeah.
We are.
Which is something I want to talk about. How does that even happen? So congratulations and welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the adventure.
And the people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. I'm your host from Princess Craft RV. I'm PJ Berger.
And I'm the one that forgets my words. And
That's all right. I'm here to help you.
Clint is behind the board, just laughing at us, not being able to get the intro right. And like I said before, we have Ashley and Grayson here from Our Full-Time Adventure. And their two puppies. What are their names?
Brayden and Oreo.
Brayden and Oreo. I'm going to guess which one is which. No, I'm just kidding. I know.
It's pretty easy.
Maybe we should just show Oreo real quick and make it so obvious.
If you're watching
which one's Oreo.
on our YouTube channel, you might see the dogs make an appearance.
It's pretty obvious that this is Oreo.
It's Oreo. Ooh. He's so cute, and he does this thing with his paws. But anyway.
He loves attention.
Well, me too.
You have something in common with Oreo.
It's true.
You and Oreo are like this.
Mm-hmm. So, you guys are here because you needed some help with your truck camper, and we just plucked you out of the waiting room and sat you in front of microphones. So, again, thank you for doing this weird thing with us.
Yeah,
Thank you for
why
having
not?
us. Yeah. It's not our
Happy
first
to be
time.
here.
It's our first time with a setup like this, though.
Oh.
Usually we've done it over Zoom. We've done it at a campsite with no camera, just mics, and this is pretty legit.
Well,
Yeah,
after
I
this
like the
podcast
setup.
is over, you should let us know who has the best one. You can do it off camera if you want, though.
Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
That's definitely an off-camera thing.
Well, we already know what they're going to say, Lindsay, so we don't even have to go there.
It's true. So let's start from the beginning.
What do you want to know?
I want to know what got you started at first. I think the biggest question that people have is like you decided you wanted to travel full time. You decided you wanted to live in a moving thing and travel and see all these things. Why did you choose a truck camper over a trailer? Because most people are like, what?
Well, I think you're getting ahead of yourself there.
Oh, I am.
We did not start with a truck camper. So 4.5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been 4.5 years.
We got married August 16th, 2020. And
Good on you for remembering the date.
Yeah. Well, actually, we both
He's
forget
good.
it. We both forget it. We're like 16th, 18th?
Yeah, we're
14th?
like somewhere in there.
Tattoo it on yourself somewhere.
Yeah.
16th. You got it.
So we
Check your Facebook.
got married August 16th, 2020. And we thought, well, we had already looked at, like, I was trying to be a responsible guy, you know, like get a house, do these things that you're supposed to do, the American dream, right? And where we're from in Florida, it's a pretty expensive area. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to, $300,000 at that time didn't get you far. And now it gets you nowhere. But then it got you really nowhere, still in the area. And I think a lot of people live close to home because that's where family is. That's where friends are. That's just comfortable. So we had friends telling us that, you know, after looking at 300 plus properties, we're like, maybe we
Literally,
just
we
shouldn't be in
looked at so
Florida.
much.
And I had a friend I did construction with who lived in a travel trailer. He's like, you guys should try an RV. And she's like, there's no way.
I was like,
and
an
one of my
RV?
buddies, he's like this pro fighter. He's 5'2", I'm 6'2". He's like, y'all should get a tiny home. And I'm like, dude, look how small you are. Like, you fit in a tiny home. I don't. We went and looked, fell in love with campers. We're like, this is the coolest thing ever. I've never camped in my life.
And I grew up
okay.
camping, but tent camping. So obviously totally
And so
different.
long
Right,
story short
right.
is basically we kind of jumped into this lifestyle a month. Well, I'd already lived in a camper. So it's just, you know, there's a little
Well,
bit
you
of a
got
story
the camper
behind it.
to live in before we
Yeah,
traveled.
there's a little bit of a story behind this. But once we got married, we decided, okay, we'll upgrade from a travel trailer that I was living in before we got married to a fifth wheel, renovated it, traveled, Oreo totaled it by turning on the water. He turned on the water, flooded it.
Back up.
There's a lot to it. This is like a very, very
There's
big
our
question.
story.
I
This
need
is
to
like-
know how the dog ruined your life and why he's still in
Well,
your
it's
life.
funny because he actually didn't ruin it. So basically, we bought this camper off Facebook Marketplace for such a steal. We renovated it, and the camper was worth way more than we bought it for because we bought it used. And so it was funny because when he turned on the water,
wasn't
we
really
were
funny,
well,
but
it wasn't
yeah.
funny, but
Not like haha.
Not funny,
not like
funny. It was
ha
funny,
ha,
like,
but like it all worked No.
It was funny, like, haha. You know, not like.
So
Yeah.
no, we ended up getting more than we had paid for it when he totaled it because it was worth more.
Yeah, so
job,
insurance,
Leo.
basically, we bought this camper from an older gentleman who like lived in it before he had to go to like a nursing home or something. We got it for a great deal. It was a Keystone, Montana, 2010, still built really well, and oak, like all this nice wood, whatever.
All right, tell me numbers.
Great
Can I
camper.
get numbers?
Of course. So we bought it for
14.5.
No, we bought it for 14.
Dang.
We were in it for
19 after
19.5.
renovating.
And let's say insurance, we didn't have like the price thing where like they match your price. Like
Right.
they came and valued it at 30.
Yeah.
What?
So we were like,
What?
I was like-
Oreo,
so-
what a great job.
what was crazy was they weren't going to total that at first. They saw the water, like it was flooded. It was flooding for like 3 hours. Like the water was just coming out of the bottom when I
was
cut it open.
bad.
The underbelly, I cut it open and just water was pouring out. They wanted to put like mold paint or something. So like they paint over it and it doesn't mold. I'm like, no, we're going to like travel in this. Like the floor's going
It
to
needs
fall
to
out.
be legit.
And then
Yeah.
so somebody else came and was like, no, this is totaled. Like
What did Oreo turn on?
a faucet.
A
We had a cat at the
faucet.
time.
How?
So we had
he
a
learned
cat.
how to get on the counter because we had a cat and we'd never seen him jump up on the counter before. But sure enough, he turned on the water. And then the next day, like we literally saw him laying on the counter with the cat. Because we like peeked our heads in before we like opened the door to see like, what is he doing?
So wait. Your dog jumped up on the counter with the cat so they could both lay on the counter
Well,
in
so
the
she
kitchen
would like lick the bottom
together.
of the faucet. It's like a cat thing to do it in houses. Like I had a cat when I lived in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Like she just like finds water.
Yeah.
Even though she has plenty in
cat
her
thing.
bowl.
Yeah.
But she like likes to go
She
to the
wants it
faucet.
to move.
She wants
Yeah.
it at the source.
Yeah.
So Oreo found the source and he turned. Let me just shout out Progressive, by the way. Progressive RV
Yes,
insurance.
I would
is-
say so.
I think I need to look at the camera for this. Progressive RV insurance is absolutely the best. If you have a camper, definitely recommend it. Not only do we work with them, like as content creators, but they've actually saved our life multiple times in terms of policies and totaled campers. But we'll get into that further down the road.
Wow, I
But
tell
that's
you what,
total
I
camper
am going to
one.
think of you every time I see one of those obnoxious progressive
Well, I'm not Flo, I'm Grayson, but
commercials.
We'll put a wig on you. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
honestly, they're really good. So we have their full timer policy, and they totaled this whatever, and didn't even bat an eye at the fact that like the camper was totaled.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe that we got more than we paid for it. They never questioned it. They didn't drop us. Didn't raise our rate. Nothing. And we still have Progressive to this day after a different camper was totaled, which we'll get into in a second.
I'm dizzy.
What? Yeah.
We've had 6. This is our 6th camper that we have now. So long story short is we've had multiple
6?
campers.
Since 2020.
Since actually
2019.
6 since 2019.
But
yeah.
we only we traveled in 5 of them. The first one he lived in before, because like he was saying, we were looking at buying houses, and when we realized nothing was really what we wanted, we decided, okay, let's get a camper for now, and then we'll kind of like take it from there. And that's when we decided we were going to travel for a year around the states and decide where we wanted to live. And then clearly 4.5 years later, we don't want to live
See the
anywhere.
range. See how
Still
we went.
deciding.
See how we
5
went to
and
a whole
4
different
years.
direction. You asked a simple question. Here we are talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because we have people all the time that are saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't switch. I just bought this 2 or 3 years ago."
Well, so
You've
like-
had 5 campers in 4 years?
Yeah, so we've always like we got that one Keystone, Montana for a really good deal. I've
Okay.
always searched for deals. I'm a big
Okay.
Facebook Marketplace guy. I bought
Okay.
every single one of our campers on Facebook Marketplace besides our newest 820. Every single one. Oh, and our first travel trailer.
Yeah, and our first
I bought
one.
everything else on Facebook Marketplace. But it's only because money talks. People don't show up with cash, and I do. That's how it works. And I buy everything cheap. I buy everything really cheap. Like $14,000 is cheap.
How
I
to
think.
get a cheap camper? Do we need to relabel this podcast?
No, sorry.
No,
Let's
no,
continue
no.
though.
Yeah, because that's good info.
So how do we get to a truck camper? That's basically where
yeah.
we're at.
So
Yeah.
what happened after you totaled your Montana? What was the next thing?
We actually got a bigger fifth wheel. So it was 36
What?
feet and we went to a 40 footer because this one really wanted bigger. And I just like my wife to be happy. So I said, you know what? You're right. Bigger's where we need to be. And so we got a 40-foot monster. It
But
was
it
Cedar
did not
Creek
last
Hathaway.
long because
I convinced her.
he
that
always wanted
truck-
to do something smaller.
I always wanted a truck camper.
Mm-hmm.
I've got pictures and screenshots in my phone from when I lived in that travel trailer of truck campers.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I would show her like how cool is this truck camper on an F450, which is what we have now.
okay.
And I was basically planting this idea from 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And the truck camper thing did not become something until 2020. But we had that bigger fifth wheel. 2021.
Yeah.
So we had that bigger fifth wheel. We traveled in it for 8 months, took it literally everywhere. I treated it like a truck camper. So you can only imagine what happened to this fifth wheel. Nothing. It didn't get totaled, but we used it. We took basically all that insurance money we got. We put it right into this fifth wheel. Didn't renovate it. Didn't do anything. It was a 2016. Brought it literally everywhere, and it just kind of like slowly did what campers do when you take them places they shouldn't go, and you don't maintain it well. So like it had like a fiberglass tail end, and I kind of ripped that. It had it just ripped it like 6 inches. Nothing crazy.
You just ran into things.
No, I took it through this
Yeah,
hole.
it's more like going through dips and stuff. You know, you have that big tail end.
So basically we had that for 8 months, and I was like, I'm kind of tired of this 40-foot fifth wheel thing. 7 to 8 miles to the gallon isn't really that cool. Not that we get more than that anyways now, but 7 to 8 miles to the gallon isn't really
Disclaimer.
that cool. But we should try a truck camper. And I guess I'll let you tell this part of the story because this is mainly your...
Yeah, no, so it was crazy. So after, all the talking about it and stuff, I was like, okay, I will try it. But if after like 6 months, I'm like, it's too small and I don't, it's not it, whatever, then we have to agree to like look at another option. Like it might not have to be as big as what we've had before, but something bigger than a truck camper.
So all I needed to hear was that, and I was on a Facebook Marketplace again.
And so he was...
I bet.
Oh my gosh.
30 seconds later.
Yes. And so we did kind of compromise. We got a truck camper and then a little cargo trailer on the back. It was like, 14 feet. It was super small, but like just because going from something so big, like we had so much extra stuff. Yeah, of course. So we were like...
And I lived in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath before we ever hit before the travel trailer. So I like still had my stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was like one of the reasons why we went big in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, when you think about going full time, you kind of are like, oh, I need something a little bit bigger. But now, fast forward 4.5 years, we realize like we have more than we need in our Cirrus 820 now that we're like, we have too much stuff now. So it's kind of funny. But anyways, yeah. So we had gotten a truck camper, and this was like, but we didn't have a Cirrus yet. We had a Arctic Fox, I think. We had an Arctic Fox. We renovated it also, traveled it in for a little while. And then unfortunately
I think it was like a 2008 or 10. 10,000 cash. It was a good deal. Older gentleman owned it. It was in such good, like it looked brand new. It was in such good condition.
And so we renovated it. And at first I still was like, oh, it's small, but I was starting to get used to it. And literally a week before this camper unfortunately got totaled, I had told Grayson, I'm actually really loving the truck camper. I'm so glad we decided to do this. And then unfortunately,
this is like life-changing, traumatizing. Like really change your perspective on life scenario.
We had a propane explosion
while she was inside the truck camper.
Oh my gosh.
And our cat.
Yeah.
And she was life lighted. So it happened at a Cracker Barrel. Funny, we stayed at a Cracker Barrel last night. Shout out to Cracker Barrel as well.
Cracker docking.
And so it was Cracker Barrel in the Smoky Mountains. It was like the Pigeon Forge. There's 2 of them. It was one of the 2. And I was in our cargo trailer getting their food ready for the day, getting our mountain bikes ready. We were about to go ride a trail because Great Smoky Mountains is kind of funny. There's a lot of like hiking, but there's only like 3 trails you can actually take a bike on. It's really interesting. I guess protect the parks is, pretty important. But so we were getting our mountain bikes ready. Or I was, and she was in the camper with our dogs and our cat, and she went to go like turn on the stove, and like the entire roof blew off the camper. She ran out on fire. I'd like rip her shirt off. Her arms were burned, her face was burned, her neck was burned. And then the ambulance came and got her, took her to like the closest hospital there, and they were like, we don't have a burn center, so we need a life flighter to Nashville. And so there I was, like with the firefighters, putting all my stuff away. It was just like a generator that was out or something. And then driving 4.5 hours with a total truck camper. And she actually tested positive for COVID, which we had like 3 weeks prior. So like
3 months. No, it was like
three. It was like in between that 3 weeks to like 2 months.
It was like,
I don't remember, but she tested positive for COVID, which we didn't have. And it was like COVID was still kind of a thing, but not really a thing. I guess it's still a thing depending on who you are, but to us, it's not a thing. But
in the like hospital and stuff, I had tested positive. It was like a persistent positive. So the whole time I was in the hospital, like he couldn't come in the room, like no one could be there. Yeah. So it was pretty rough. But honestly, the whole thing I feel like worked out not that I wish it happened, but it worked out for the best because that's when we came across the nüCamp.
So she was in the hospital 2 weeks. She got out 5 weeks of worth of like being in Airbnbs and whatever. She was like, I'm really ready to be in a truck, like another truck camper, but it can't. There's like a stipulation to it. Can't be. I don't want to have to renovate it because we just finished renovating our other one. When I say renovating, I mean like painting, like nothing crazy. We just finished renovating our other one, so no renovations, and it can't look like a truck camper. And
no propane.
Oh, and no propane. And I was like, that's kind of funny. Like that's really hard to find. In 2021, that was no propane. Like no one was really doing fully solar stuff.
Right.
It was so hard to
One.
come across. Yeah.
And two, like everyone's truck campers have the same colors, have similar floor plans. So that's when we came upon nüCamp, which was, we were in Nashville. This was only like 2 hours south of us. And I was like, there's no other truck campers out on the East Coast, really. There was one other one on Facebook. And I was like, oh, this is really screwing me over here with these stipulations. But I totally understood and I was on the same page. So we went. Go ahead.
I want to interrupt just a second because I'm still in a little bit of shock, and I bet anybody listening is going, wait,
What
really?
happened?
What happened? So did you figure out the cause of your propane explosion?
Nope. Even insurance.
Nope.
So it's funny. It's not funny, but the morning we woke up that day, I had like a shirt on the floor and I picked up the shirt and I like vividly, I think things happen in life, like when scenarios like this happen and you start remembering little details of things you don't know why you remember them. And so one of the main things I remember is the propane detector being green as day, because obviously there's green and there's red. And so it was green on the detector, which means there'd be no propane in the air, theoretically. And another thing I remember is there was no smell of propane. And so we've been told like, oh, you guys had COVID like a month before. Maybe you guys just can't detect the smell of propane. I was like, no, I was able to smell my food the night before. Like
there was no.
that's a little, that's a far reach, but even insurance couldn't figure it out. They looked at it. They're like, it's totaled. I don't know what else to tell you.
They knew it was from
That's what-
propane. That's all they knew. But they didn't know, like, how did it happen? Was it something with the regulator? Was it like we just don't really know.
Yeah.
So-
And it's weird because I think as a guy, I mean, I guess as a woman as well, like you would just want to figure out the base of the problem, but guys are very like technical in that way of like, what was the cause and effect here?
So I can make sure it doesn't happen again.
So her dad and I were like
absolutely.
trying to figure it out,
Right.
and her dad and I were going back and forth, and we got to a point. I was like, her dad's name is John. I was like, honestly, John, like this is just getting to be too much. Like I just need to take like we just need to make sure Ashley's okay, and we just need to make sure we never have propane again. Like I don't know what else to say here because we can't figure it out. And so I know him as his daughter being. I mean, that was probably the worst phone call. I had to call my wife's parents and be like, hey, your daughter was in an explosion, but she's fine. Like there's a lot of things that like. It's funny because you were like had to like kind of stop us. We've told this story not so many times, but it's a story that it's like you almost want to become numb to be able to share because it's like
So traumatic.
It still hurts, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a story you want to become numb to, so you can share and like kind of give light to the good side of the scenario because there is good to this, and we'll get to that in a second. There is a good side to this. We wouldn't be in this scenario with nüCamp if it wasn't for having to find a nüCamp or finding this nüCamp that we bought and loving it the way that we did. It would be hard for us to be the ambassadors that we are today, I guess I should say. So there is a good side to this.
And I think anytime you have a serious life-threatening situation like that and everyone comes out okay, I mean, I think you probably have some fears that come along with it. Understandable. But it gives you a whole new perspective of what's important.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And,
totally.
So a lot of times people don't get that perspective until they get much older and they see life-threatening situations there. But wow, I bet that really changed so much of how you looked at how you live, what's important, dragging all of your extra gear in a trailer behind you. I mean, I imagine it changed everything. Wow. Well, kudos to you. You know, propane is a tricky thing. It is very manageable if you do it right. Apparently there was something not right in your camper.
Yeah.
Because propane is safe. It's been used forever.
Yeah, I mean, we used it in our other the two fifth wheels in the travel trailer.
Sure.
And we never had a problem at all. Like, so it's just interesting. Like, I didn't think that could have been a way that we went out. But for us, it wasn't going to be a way that we went out because
everyone was so shocked we were going to keep traveling. So shocked. And we just were like,
we're not as weak as you guys think.
Yeah, no, you just can't
You think I'm weak? I was like, I looked him in the eyes like this. I was like, you think I'm weak? It's like, you think she's weak? We're not weak. No, that's not what we did. But
I think it's just like,
propane.
But you should have.
Propane's been used for ages in houses and whatever, and accidents happen, and it's hard to say what happened. And I think it could still be, like you said, it could be used safely if managed properly.
Absolutely.
And it is used safely.
So many, you know what scares me about propane is do-it-yourselfers. Everybody thinks,
Big time.
hey, I got this. And, I
not
can do
something
this.
to
I've
mess.
plumbed houses. I got this.
yeah.
And propane needs regular testing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Clearly, there was a leak somewhere.
Agreed.
There was a leak somewhere that wasn't detected.
And that's what we think. We think either a bad regulator, as in instead of it stopping, it was
It might have let
pushing.
out too much.
And that could happen. That could be like the switch of elevation. It could be anything. That or a leak somewhere that was so small and it was already in there built up. And maybe we got used to the smell and never noticed it because it was so small. But I just don't. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Or it filled up a compartment that wasn't inside the camper. And then your detector can't detect it.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But wow. Okay. Thank you. Moving on. Okay. So then you found a Cirrus after that?
Yeah. So we found this 2017 820 and we looked at it and it was a little bit out of our price range. We had a specific price range and she was like, this one looks great from the pictures. Let's go look at it. And ironically, the guy was actually a medic on a flight, like one of the air medic, not on her plane or her helicopter, but he was a medic on a helicopter not for a life flight, but another one of those companies.
Yeah, I like him.
So he used it at their base as like just a place to sleep in. And because they didn't have, it was like on a reservation or something where they didn't have like a building. And so he was just trying to get rid of it because they kind of paid for housing. He wanted something new. He didn't want this one anymore, which is fine. And so we actually got a great deal on it. I think we looked at it a few times and we're like not so sure. I think we paid like $24 for it in 2021. So it was a great deal. It was mid-COVID. I feel like it was $5,000 to $8,000 lower than the low price on NADA. Obviously what we can see. Or whatever they call it, JD Powers, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's all
so-
you. I don't know.
And obviously it looks different as a dealer. I'm just saying from like the consumer side.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, we got a good deal on it. And
You did.
He kind of walked us through everything, loaded it on our truck, did all that. And we just fell in love with the unit. I completely converted it to a fully solar rig. So it had 800 watts of solar on the roof, 400 amp hours of lithium, battle-born lithium. It had no more propane. It had a diesel heater that was inline their Aldi system. Everyone was amazed when they saw that thing. I had some guy drive right before I sold it. I had a friend of ours, or now a friend of ours, drive 6 hours round trip just to look at how I installed this diesel heater because I was the first person to do it, I think, because I've never seen it done. And it was a great unit. Absolutely loved it. We made so many memories in it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what got us into just being so passionate about the nüCamp product in the first place, was traveling it and really, I don't want to say beating on it, but we literally brought it everywhere. And this camper was built so well. Well, because you think about the span of going from that fifth wheel to the truck camper exploding. So like that one didn't really count because we had it for like a month. And then we go straight to the Cirrus. So we went from like something falling apart to something that just won't fall apart.
Yeah.
And we drove it everywhere, took it literally everywhere. And then we were going to Alaska and we've talked back and forth with the nüCamp family many, many times. I'm going to guess it's probably Samantha because she's all over the social media.
Right.
And so we were like, hey, we'd love to work with you. And she's like, wow, well, we'd love to work with you. You're one of the people, we had our eyes on to work with. We went to Alaska, created content, lived the best Alaskan life Canadian life for like 4 months, drove all the way to the Arctic Ocean, came back. And then they were like, hey, we love that. We did like a little 3-month period of just making sure that we were actually as aligned as we all said we were, them with us and us with them. And we loved working with them. They loved working with us.
And they're like, let's keep working together, but we need to figure out a new camper for you guys.
Because you can't really advertise a 2017 and 2024.
Yeah.
It doesn't do much for nüCamp.
Right.
Not at all.
Although it does say, hey, look at this 2017 camper that still looks amazing.
Yeah. So true.
But
The third owner is still
Yeah.
proudly living in it, living up his dreams, sends me
There you
pictures
go.
all the time.
That's
Yeah.
a good jump off
that's
point.
great.
Yeah, so they were I think
is
they were
great.
following along our page and they saw it was up for sale, but didn't correlate the name with Our Full-Time Adventure.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, you're that Grayson? I'm like, do you know another one? And so we ended up, they got a really good deal on it.
Because we sold that truck and camper together. So it was already like set up and built to perfection.
With
altogether.
a built-in diesel heater. Wow.
Yeah, it's a great camper.
It was a little hard to let go of it, like after everything we had gone through, and then that felt like home and we just loved it so much.
Oh,
but
wow.
I mean, now our
But I
new
will
one.
say, I don't know if nüCamp will be upset about me sharing this, but I will say the fact that he got that camper and they actually warranted some stuff on it still. He's the third owner. It's
Yeah.
been lived in. He's living in it. And they still warranted stuff. So They're really good with their warranty stuff. I think so. But he basically said, you guys might say otherwise, but because I don't know the back end of anything.
Oh, no. nüCamp is awesome with their,
yeah, you never know. You never know, like, if it's hard to get stuff or whatever. But long story short is he had an issue with just a window. Like, that's not really, that's not their product. That's a third-party product. And they still sent him a brand new window.
We were like, wow,
and
that's
they sent him all this other
amazing.
stuff that he needed. And I was like, did they do that because I sold it to him, or did they do that because that's what they do? But I know it's what they do. So
that's one of the reasons why we are such big nüCamp fans, is just communication is so easy with them.
I see you wearing your nüCamp shirt too.
I am?
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
No.
Oh, I was like,
I totally forgot what you put on this morning.
Yeah, I have nüCamp swag.
But we have plenty.
I just didn't wear it.
I know.
My nüCamp sweatshirt. I love it. So, one of the things that I think is important about nüCamp is that they are the absolute only company I know of, the only manufacturer that has peoples. They got those folks that do nothing but take customer calls. And
Shout out to Raph.
Yes.
Right?
Hey, Raph.
We love you, buddy.
So, they take calls from customers that are interested in buying, but they also take calls from customers who already own them. They handle anybody who has a question. And they have more customer service people than they do salespeople selling to dealers.
That's crazy.
Incredible.
Who would have thunk
She's
it?
preaching in here.
Incredible.
It's incredible.
amazing.
Yeah, it is great. They are also the only company that has a 7-year, no deductible warranty that you can buy with your camper that goes straight through nüCamp.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with, anybody else on an extended service plan. You just call up your good friends at nüCamp
Yeah.
and tell them what your problem is.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And it's all good.
So that's part of the reason why we love them as well, is that they really stand by what they build.
Well, that was my disclaimer. I really
nüCamp
like these
commercial.
folks, but I'm done.
Yeah.
So you guys, they just do a great job. Not everybody out there in this world does a great job or does more than they have to.
Yeah.
I think everyone
nüCamp
thinks they
does
can get by
more
with
than they have to.
They think they can get by with a subpar job. And I think in 2024, not nüCamp, just a lot of people.
Yeah,
And I think in 2024, the consumers they're really getting picky about where they spend their money. And it's because of that, the kind of stuff that really makes it. You can make a terrible product, not that nüCamp does, but you can make a terrible product and have great customer service. And somebody would prefer to buy that over a great product with no customer service.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
onto it, yeah.
But
So-
nüCamp does both.
Exactly.
By the way.
No, that's what we
Great
love.
product,
Yeah.
great service.
So
hard
you
to
have an
find.
820.
Yes.
So you just got a new 820
Yeah,
now.
about 6 months ago.
Yeah, we have a 2024 820.
Ooh, what color is it?
It's a silver.
It's
Yeah, it's a
and it has
silver
like
with
the
like the
gray
gray interior.
gray and white.
So
It's
why do you
beautiful.
even ask what color it is? Because on a Cirrus, it's one stripe.
I know.
Literally,
And
one
that
stripe.
stripe really defines who you are inside, you know?
Yeah, but that
it's all
limited
about the
edition one they
stripe.
made. Oof,
Isn't
that
it
was
pretty?
So
That
bad.
tan
That was
one.
so nice.
We have
I
one. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I don't need
love
to drool
that.
any more than I've already drooled.
We have a
over.
922. You want me to show you?
I've already been.
Yeah, we love them. We love them. They're so nice.
Because the
so look
limited
at them here.
edition.
They have us on the podcast, and they're going to sell us a 920.
I mean,
yeah.
It was on my mind.
This is incredible.
Just make a few calls. We'll work something out.
there we go.
Yeah, but the thing is, that limited edition, they didn't change a thing. It's just different colors.
Colors. Oh my goodness.
It's got that charcoal exterior and that
That
really
tan line.
light
Oh,
interior.
beige.
It's so
Yeah.
sleek. It's so sleek.
It is classy.
Yeah.
Classy.
So I want to know, what do you do? What do you?
Like
what
for
do you
work,
do?
for
Yeah, like
outside,
do you
like-
just like okay? So
We
you
don't
just
do
say
much.
like,
But we do it all at the same time.
I want to go to Colorado. Okay, let's go to Colorado.
planning
Let's
wise.
go. And then like, how do you make money? Like,
So we don't make money.
okay,
No, I'm kidding. So
print it.
yeah, so let's, I guess
so
this is
many
a whole.
questions.
This is a whole story again. Like it starts at the
can't
beginning.
wait. All
So
right.
it starts at the beginning. I'll
me
go.
settle in.
I'll make it really fast because here's my rant that I was warning you about.
Okay.
Basically, we had real jobs. We quit. We had real jobs. Got married. Quit 2 weeks later when we got home from our honeymoon. Figured, okay, we'll just figure it out. Use our savings for a while, whatever. Diesel was only $1.85. It was so cheap to travel in 2020 whenever we started. Then we started taking it more seriously. She thought we'd be on the road for just a year. We were talking about this with my sister and my brother-in-law literally yesterday. She thought, oh, we'll be on the road for a year. That's it. 2 months kicked in. She's like, how can we not stop? You know, so it's like we had to get remote jobs. She co-hosted 33
short-term rentals, like Airbnbs and
out of
stuff.
Broken Bow, which I guess is a big area for like those DFW people to go up to in Oklahoma.
Like Broken Bow Lake area in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so she did that. And she got that job through us staying at a Harvest Host and meeting an owner of a place in Texas. He's a good friend of ours now. And his daughter had been a co-host or she owned properties and also managed properties.
Yeah,
right?
she owned 3 and then she managed a bunch of other ones. And that's where I kind of stepped in there.
So she like wanted to learn the business, but also wanted to help and knew it could be done remote. So that's what she did. And I ran other people's social medias for a buddy of mine who has like a reputation management company. So think like politicians, hunter, fishermen, whatever. That's what I did. And yeah, so after that, we were just filming our travels from the start about, you know, what we're doing in our life, and our friends and family wanted to know what we're doing. So we figured let's film it instead of calling you every day. And it just kind of picked up traction. And that's actually like our full-time job now, is just creating content, not only for our own socials, but also other brands as well. So that's what we do full time. We play with cameras, not to this extent, but we play with cameras, and
You'll get there. Don't worry.
yeah. When I get hair on my chest, I'll get that.
Okay. Clint started with a little baby camera too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what we do full time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in
content
terms
creators, I don't know. I don't like to say influencers because I'm not influencing anyone to do anything.
Are you sure?
100%. I might be
we don't
low
like
key.
to be-
Low key, when people watch, we might be influencing people to maybe change their lifestyle. We've actually had
we've had yes.
people come up to us and say, I literally sold everything about a truck camper because of you guys. And I was like, whoa, that's not the point. But we love it. And I was
But
like,
the
okay,
term influencer, I feel like you think of like the girls who are like, oh, buy this vitamin or something.
like this,
and
you
we're
know,
more
they
like
have
creating
their-
quality content if people like it and they
take
want
their
it.
phone out and they put it up on a coffee mug and like,
We use like
you know,
cameras.
that's not us.
Yeah.
So we like to say we truly create content that I guess you can create it with the phone, but it's just the quality's not the same, and the heart that goes behind it's not the same. But if you're doing your thing, you're doing your thing, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be in the like kind of exclusive club that so many people want to be in, with Mandy and Jen Grover, and like you're part of the nüCamp tribe? Like that's cool.
Yeah, we love our nüCamp. We love the family. We love everyone who works at nüCamp. We don't know all the other ambassadors very well. We've met them.
I mean, no Mandy. I don't think we've ever met Jen.
We've never met
Really? You should.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Well,
Yeah,
I think we will hear soon at the Florida RV Super Show. I think she'll be there.
Did y'all go to nüCamp last year?
We did.
No, but because I guess before it was only the tabs, and this year they're opening it up to the
Well, so you could have gone with the truck camper,
too.
just like no one did.
Yeah,
So now
this is true.
they're really opening
Yeah.
up to the truck campers, and we will be
So
there.
we'll be there this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
so
this next
excited.
year.
Yeah.
Very
So we're
cool.
really excited for sure.
What is the hardest part about, like, I don't know. I can imagine it was more your struggle because you wanted something bigger. So like, I think that's people's fear, is a truck camper is so small.
Yeah.
So I know eventually you just kind of figure out you don't need all this crap,
100%.
but there's got to be some things that on the other side are hard. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't want to let this go, but I have to.
I think initially for sure it was the size, just thinking like, oh, you come from a house. He comes from a 2-bedroom apartment by himself. Like, we have all these things. Like, how are we gonna, like put everything everywhere? And then you realize, okay, I don't need this. I haven't used that. And then I think just as we downsize from something so big to something so small, I'm like, we have an 820 and like, we just still have stuff in there that I'm like, we go to do laundry and I'm like,
While the
how do
920
I-
is really, 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 really nice and big. And it's definitely something that like we look at. I just think about the weight that comes with the items, like I think that's
Yeah, I
huge.
mean,
you just kind of have to, you just get not numb to giving stuff away, but you kind of like,
oh my gosh, every
You
time
kinda
we
get
like
numb
do
to it because
laundry
you
or
start-
something and I see what's left at the bottom of my closet, I'm like, if I haven't worn this, like, it's gotta go.
talk
Like,
about
I just
changing
don't
your
need it.
perspective. on
Yeah.
hauling the junk around.
Yeah.
Is there anything you miss about like having your stuff and room? And
I would
mean-
say like room wise, sometimes, like only if it's like super bad weather, or like maybe we're in an area where there's not too much to do and we find that we're like kind of like getting antsy.
stuck inside? Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, we love just spending our time in the mountains and being outside and hiking. Like, we will hike all day long. We'll go backpacking.
And
Like,
the thing is, the dogs love it more than we do.
Oh, I'm
Love it.
sure.
We went out in Banff and we hiked like 14 hours in one day.
Oh my
and these
gosh, I
dogs
love
were like,
it.
they laid down for an hour and they were ready to go again. I'm like,
Yeah.
Can't you guys sleep?
Where do they sleep on the bed with you in the camper?
Yeah, they both do. Oreo sleeps on my back, like, is like right behind me, and Brayden sleeps like on my feet, and then Grayson gets smushed up on his side because we take over.
So you think about the 820 bed, and they have those wood things on the side where the storage. I sleep on that practically.
Oh yeah.
And everyone smushes
There's
me
more
up.
than enough room in the bed. It's just
And
the
then
fact
Brayden-
that the dogs get so
Brayden
close
sleeps
to
at the
me.
bottom.
Stretch
Yes.
out.
Yeah, they like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Brayden sleeps on like a ball on the bottom. I think this is too much information, but on the passenger side, and he just like pushes us all over. Yeah, I'm talking
Look
about
at
you,
your
buddy.
dog right now.
Yeah,
He's so zen right now. And Oreo's like, I don't know what he's doing, walking
I
around.
already did. I took a million pictures.
yeah. So
This is
Brayden takes up 90% of the
silly.
bed with Ashley and Oreo,
So
and then
funny.
there's me, the biggest person, taking up the small slice of the bed. And I think that happens the same thing in a normal house too. I don't. That's
Yeah,
what I've heard.
it
I see all
does.
these I see all these reels or like photos or videos, and it's like, the guy's like practically on the floor, and then there's the wife or the girlfriend, whatever, or the partner, and then there's the dogs. And I'm like, okay, so I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of normal. Camper
Yeah.
doesn't really change much about it.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I think for me personally, like the biggest things I guess I miss about a traditional lifestyle is like, being able to have the unlimited water for the shower, hot water. Cause like we don't do a lot of RV parks like once in a while, but like we like to get out there. Like we're not,
That's the point of a truck camper,
that's
right?
the point of a truck camper for
Yeah.
us is to get out there and get further and stuff. So I feel like that sometimes, but I mean, we have ways around that. Like sometimes we do
She
go to
loves her
RV
kitchen
parks.
appliances.
Or we go to like the gyms and shower and stuff, and it's really not a big deal. But sometimes it's like, oh, it'd be nice to like not have to wear shower shoes or whatever, you know. And then the other thing would be like missing our friends and family from at home.
You skipped one. The kitchen appliances. She loves to
but
cook.
I have a lot of
She
stuff.
loves to cook.
I have a
she
lot,
loves to
though.
cook like healthy stuff. We met at the gym. We have matching dumbbell tattoos. Like it's legit.
That's adorable.
And we got them like 2
great.
months after dating. I used to bodybuild.
Yeah.
She was like a Zumba instructor, personal trainer, blah, 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 blah. And it's just
You
fun,
got blah blah blah.
And blah, blah, blah. And so on and so
Here's
forth.
why, because there was a lot that she did.
There's too much
There
to
was a
name.
lot that she did in that category, but that's a whole nother story for a whole other day. But she likes to make like very healthy recipes and like little treats or whatever. And like it takes up space. And
But I make
know.
space for the things that I love. So
Yeah,
I keep
it's true.
everything I need to make what I need, and it all works out.
I think that's the important thing. I think a lot of times when we have truck camper people on, or even just tiny camper people, it sounds very glamorous, like throw away all your stuff and go travel. And so I wanted a piece that it's like, it's also real life, and you also
Yeah.
don't get to plop down on your leather couch and watch your 60-inch TV whenever you want and stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, even the things you miss,
Yeah.
you don't really
miss them.
And it's
miss them the way you think you're going to
And I
miss
think people
them.
try to be so hardcore from the start, and they try to
Yeah.
purge everything, which I think is like slowly purged.
Step it
But
down.
we have a
Yeah.
5x5 storage unit. Like at first we were like kind of weird. Like
We're like,
when
we don't need a
we don't-
storage
Yeah, you like
unit.
try to get so hardcore. Like we don't need a storage unit. It's like, but we like all these outdoor activities. So like we need a storage unit.
Yeah.
And I think more and
like
more
for skis and extra bikes.
This is
and
like kind of
stuff.
like I guess first exclusive take on this. Only some people know that we're even thinking about it, but I was thinking about building like a shop, just because like truck maintenance is hard to do. Like I got to find somebody. The new 450 makes it really difficult in order to change. I'll just make it easy. In order to change a rotor, you have to take the entire axle out, like not the axle housing, but the axle shaft
To paint.
needs to come. It's a whole thing. And that needs to be like a very clean environment. So like I've never thought about getting a shop or doing anything like that, but not a lot of people can take a 14 or 28 foot long thing by 13 feet
Right.
and then also get it on a lift. Like it's just too much. So there's like, it'd be nice to
There's
get out of the
little
storage
things like
unit and
that.
have a shop, like just a small shop that can have our stuff instead of a storage unit, because I'm wasting money. But yeah.
No, I mean, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
what she said. Like, yeah, I don't have all my kitchen appliances, but you figure out how to do the things that you want to do
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
that you need to do, whether it's a
Yeah.
shop or baking treats or hiking for 14 hours. If it's something you really, really want, it doesn't matter if you're in a truck camper or a mansion.
Agreed.
You figure out how to do it.
Right, exactly.
Agreed.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I want to know what kitchen appliances you have, because
What
if
are the
you're limited,
essentials?
Yeah.
what is this that are your favorite things?
Yeah, so we recently just got a rice cooker again, and I love it because I don't
But
make
a mini
just
one.
a mini
It's
one. I
cute.
mean, it's mini, but it makes like rice for like 3-4 meals. Like it's perfect.
Yeah.
So I make rice in there, but I also realize you can kind of put anything in there. So I've been putting sweet potatoes, quinoa, like you can
And it
make
works.
anything.
So you're using it like a little,
It's just
like
like
a
a
little slow
steamer,
cooker,
kind
Instant
of.
Pot.
Yeah.
Honestly, it takes like no power, which is cool.
It
'cause we
takes
are
like
fully
no
electric.
power. Yeah. So it's like the best thing. That's
good
another
to
thing
know.
you learn, like what takes so much
Right.
power, what doesn't.
She can actually make sweet potatoes. She hasn't done it while we drive because you can. I have like a
I
plug
wouldn't do
in the
that. That's
truck.
kind of scary.
I've got a plug in the truck that you can plug it in.
I think I'll just wait because
Like, that'd be cool though.
Yeah, he likes to try all
We had
that
a friend.
kind of
We had a
stuff.
friend that was cooking with their like mini crock pot in their truck while
Yeah.
they're driving. I'm like, that's pretty risky, but yeah.
I
So
wouldn't
what's
do
your
that.
next appliance that you absolutely love?
Okay,
that she just
so
got. It was a
recently,
huge TikTok thing, and then she
I
like
got.
needed it.
I don't know if you guys have heard of it, the Ninja Creamy. It like makes the ice cream.
Oh my goodness.
Caitlin is nodding her head because, of course, she knows.
Oh my gosh!
Do you have one, Caitlin?
So good. Yeah.
So she
It
has
makes
she
ice
has
cream?
the XL
Yes. So basically,
one in a camper.
there's these little pints, and you can like mix in there
That's
whatever
not
you
pints. You
want
have
to
the
mix.
big one, I think. I think you have the big
Quart?
one. Yeah, it's something huge. I don't know.
Whatever. You
It's worth
mix
it.
whatever you want in it, and then you stick it in the freezer for like 24 hours or 12 hours or something like that. And then you take it out, you put it in the little mixer, and it mixes it
So
up
if you
and
have a
literally
truck
makes
camper
like
and you're
ice cream.
Shut up.
If you have a truck camper and you're watching this and you're like, how do you get anything in your freezer? We actually have not only the freezer that's in our fridge, but we have a freezer in the
In our
backseat of our
backseat.
truck as well.
Yes.
So we're unlimited on freezer space.
Yes.
When you
have a lot of freezer
live
space.
in a truck camper,
Wow.
you have to usually people figure out another way to have a fridge or a freezer because it's just not. Especially if you're not eating out or want to
Right.
actually cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need more food.
Yeah, and I mean it's great. Like we can use just that fridge because sometimes if we don't have a lot of extra stuff, we just turn off our extra fridge and we're like, oh, we don't need it right now. Like
Like right
if
now,
we
it's,
go on
it's
trips,
full freezer
right
mode.
now it's
So I'll
freezer
stock
mode
it up with
only.
meat and like stuff that gets expensive as you travel.
You make ice cream and you're serious?
Yeah, I wish I had one ready. I would like bring it in here and make it, but I don't have anything
She
frozen
makes
right
it
now.
at camp for people. Like when we like camp it out with friends or whatever, she'll make it.
I'm
and
like, all right, ice
they
cream's
start-
coming up.
we have like 6 tubs, so you can have 6 ready to
And
go.
everyone starts making
And they start
requests,
to,
so we
like,
just start
yes.
throwing different stuff in
I'm
there
gonna
and
start
see how it
charging.
turns out.
Heck yes.
Forget content creation. Let's just make ice cream.
So yeah, so we have the rice
Ice cream
cooker.
creation.
We have the Ninja Creamy. Then of course we have like pots and pans and all that kind of stuff. We did have an air
Wait,
fryer.
you said the almond milk maker, right?
Oh, we have an almond milk maker, an
We have
almond
an
cow.
almond cow is what they call it.
And
I forgot about that one.
How
That's-
big is that
Oh, the
contraption?
almond cow. I
it's
mean, you're
big.
talking.
It's big.
It's big.
Yeah,
It's
because
like-
I've
it's-
seen them before and they're not
No, it's
mini.
bigger than that.
They're
But
big.
that is so worth it because
Do the math on what it costs to buy almond milk and then
but
what's
not
actually
only
in the
buying it,
almond
but
milk.
yeah, what's in it. Like there's so many preservatives and stuff, which is fine here or there. Like if I don't have any made, I will buy almond milk, but I'd way rather just make it because it's cheaper, it tastes better, and it's so much healthier. So like there are certain things like that for me, I'm like, especially I put them in my ice cream, I put them in coffee, I bake with it, everything. So it's like just nice to.
Have you ever had an almond milk maker? I feel like you did at one point.
No, never. I didn't even know
But I
they
need it.
existed.
Really?
And yes, on my Christmas list right now.
It's called the
Alright.
almond cow. It's
Almond
great.
cow.
No, don't tell her I'm getting it for her
Amazing.
for Christmas.
Forget it. It's just something.
You just missed Cyber
you.
Monday.
Thank you.
I mean,
I'm sure there's stuff.
I guess she's worth it, right?
I drink so much almond milk,
We-
and I
So
do
much.
everything with almond milk.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, the
And you-
consistency is different, but once you get
It's a little bit
it's
thinner because it doesn't
there's
have
no
the gums and
additives.
stuff in it. But
Yeah, and that's what I hate about it is all the stuff they put in it.
Yeah.
But it is almost impossible to find healthy
Health
almond
podcast.
milk on at a grocery
Yeah,
store.
we're huge on ingredients
It's
and all that.
almost impossible.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. And there's like, I think there's like one brand, but it's like $7. I'm like, $7
So
for
my 2
almond
options would be
juice?
the
Come on.
almond juice. my two options would be the almond milk she makes or raw milk if you can find it. That's all I want to drink. And so because the stuff that you store, it's like you look at it and it's like there are organic blah 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 blah, but it's like organic.
Plus,
Long
plus,
word.
plus, plus,
Yeah.
plus.
How is that organic?
Yeah.
Are the almonds organic? What about the rest? So
Yeah.
you're gonna love it.
It's like we didn't give hormones to the cows. We just put it all right there in the milk.
Exactly. Here you go.
Agreed.
Yeah. So we're big on that. So those are, I guess, like our 3 like main
We used to have an
ones.
air fryer in
We
our
used to
last
have an air
820.
fryer in our last 820.
We actually we took the fridge out since it was propane.
Yeah.
And
we put it dorm,
12
like a dorm
and we took it
style
out. We put a
fridge in
dorm
there.
style fridge.
So we had room on
and
the
we had
top.
room up top
So we
where
put
they
an
now
air
have
fryer
that
there.
cabinet, and we had an air fryer in there. It was really
I do
cool.
miss our air fryer, I will say, because right now, like we
What else
just
do we have?
sold it with it. And
We had the
just left it in
Blackstone,
there.
but that's not like a
yeah,
that's not a
Blackstone.
kitchen appliance or anything, right?
Well, speaking of gadgets and things you carry around, I suspect there's some camera gear and some
little.
yeah, like those
little
kind of extra paraphernalia that you drag around. What's your favorite stuff that you carry around like that?
Yeah, I'd say probably we have 2 cameras, 2 drones, 2. Yeah.
Wait. We just talked about paring down.
So it's also
drones.
So it's also work. So since it's our full-time job, it's a good excuse.
2 drones?
Well, one broke, and so we got another one, and the one that's broken still flies.
It's just like a backup one. Like if something happens with one of our drones, at least we have another one type of thing.
Because it's their job.
Yeah, and then our cameras.
But I'd love more cameras. The problem is 2 things. Theft, which we've never had an issue with, really. I mean, that's a whole other story for a whole
There's
other
always,
day.
we could be here all day long.
Yeah, maybe we should make another podcast about our theft. The 2 times we almost got robbed, and that's a story in itself. Yeah. But
so are you telling everybody to get cameras and security on their truck camper?
No, we don't have cameras yet.
We would like to.
Don't tell people you don't have cameras on your truck.
I got 2 dogs.
We got 2 dogs.
And
no, you tell other people to get cameras on their truck campers.
Oh, I was going to say, get cameras on your truck camper.
There you go.
And the other thing is, we don't call the cops.
We actually,
we're from Florida.
We're from Texas.
Are you really from Florida?
I was raised in Florida most of my life. Yeah.
Really, because your accent is interesting.
Really,
I would not have guessed Florida.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking about what I sound like.
where would you think he's from?
She's born and raised in Florida.
Yeah.
And so I've lived probably 20 years of my life in Florida. I lived 4 years in the Houston, Katy area.
Oh, sorry.
2008 to 2012. It was a really nice area then.
Oh.
And then I was born in Palm Springs, California. So I lived there for 2 years when I was a kid. So, or baby, whatever. So I've lived out of Florida for 6 years of 27. And I guess of 4.5 of me traveling. So I guess that's kind of
everywhere.
Yeah. So
everywhere and anywhere.
10 years of my life, I didn't live in Florida. So 17 I did, which I guess that's kind of a long time, right? Is that from Florida?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
How long do you need to live somewhere to be from somewhere?
I'm dizzy.
That's the real question.
It's just, what are the formative years?
Where's the finance guy? He needs to do some math for us.
Yeah, no. When you were a kid and you were learning how to talk, where did you live?
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just, sound like Florida to you?
I don't know what Florida sounds like.
My bad. You want me to sound like North Florida? Florida, Georgia line?
No, that's Georgia.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's North
Anything
Florida
north
too.
of Jupiter is Georgia.
I don't know what Florida sounds like.
It's just like,
bro.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. It's all
How's
bro.
it going, brother?
Yeah. Not brother. No, that's definitely North Florida.
But that sounds like Texas.
Brother? I don't know.
He's got a little bit of an accent and he
states,
talks really fast.
Yeah,
which is, I guess, the opposite of Texas.
Yeah, they call me an auctioneer on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, people are always like, he's like an auctioneer.
He just talks, it's just
so
unusual.
fast.
The words have to go putter through a few things in my brain before they come out my mouth that fast.
Yeah,
oh no,
mumble.
I think they missed that and just come out.
They just mumble out.
It's all right.
They just dump.
Yeah, I was always a mumbler growing up. Like I just spoke so fast. And my parents like, "What are you saying, kid?" I
don't know. Listen to me.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, it sounds like between all the kitchen gadgets and 2 drones, 2 cameras, and various and sundry things that go along with those things, that you fit quite a bit in your truck camper.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you still tow a trailer?
No. Definitely not.
No trailer.
So have you seen our camper? Like,
no.
Hey, you should see the boxes that we put on the outside. Shout out the stable camper, Jared's son and his wife Candace.
Stable camper.
Love
we
those
love those guys.
And we put on our side boxes that are a dream come true.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Amazing.
Pictures in the show notes, guys.
Yeah.
You want to see this?
Amazing.
We're going to show you.
I think Angela peeked around the corner. I think she has some news for you guys. She should give it to you live on the podcast.
We probably need parts. No, I'm kidding.
You had an air conditioner issue, is that right?
Yeah, so it would turn on and just no air would come out.
It was just the noise, but
yeah.
And usually
That's
I'm a
a problem.
DIY guy and I'd climb up there, but I'm like, we're passing through. I might as well at least come see you guys.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse to see you guys.
So happy you
Honestly, it was a very
did.
good excuse to see you guys as well as like get that taken care of as well. So.
Yeah. A
Oh,
win-win.
man. I feel honored. I have one last question.
Yeah.
And that is, you guys, you're really healthy. You do a lot of hiking. You came from the healthy athletic world, right? Clearly you have mechanical abilities. You're kind of a do-it-yourselfer.
Yes.
Yeah, you have skills that can work on the road. You've got all of the ingredients to make this work perfectly, right?
I try.
What would you say to someone who really would like to maybe do what you guys do, move to a truck camper, maybe do it close to full-time or full-time, that maybe just don't have all the talents that you do? Because if I think about who's listening, they're going to be saying, well, of course they can do that. They can hike 14 miles, 14 hours. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, so
I don't think I could hike two hours. And then fixing a truck, you want to fix it yourself? What? No one fixes their own truck anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about camera gear, all these talents.
So what's the question?
The question is...
She's getting to it.
Sorry, why'd you have to stop? She's praising.
I know.
She's giving a lot of praise.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to make it out of the room.
I like it.
I can.
She'll cut you off at the knees when you don't expect it.
And my hair is naturally curly.
It's
a
just
mullet.
around the
How do
corner.
you do it? Yeah.
Just around the corner. I'm gonna slice you in two. No, but I do hear in my head all these people saying, "Of course they can do it, but I could never do it." What do you say to that?
So I'll let you share our favorite quote first, and then I'll share what I think about that whole question, and just resonate with the quote. Maybe the quote should be at the end. And so I think truthfully, I've heard it once, limitations are self-imposed. So I think anything you want to do, anything you want to learn, anything you want to get good at, you have to practice. A jack of all trades he wasn't born a jack of all trades. He learned it. So I think a huge thing is, before hitting the road, I didn't do anything I tried building a kitchen table in my 2-bedroom, 2-bath. That's a whole other story for a whole other podcast. You couldn't put a coffee mug on it. It would
The
fall
peas
over.
rolled downhill.
No, not even. It would just
would make the table
flip
collapse.
it over. It was not. Yeah.
So I didn't go into this lifestyle with all of these
skills.
The camera thing was primarily from this lifestyle. We were we have all this free time. We don't have a job. Let's get a camera and learn how to use it.
Yeah.
And I jump headfirst into anything I do. I don't know if that's a mental health problem or what that is, but that's what I do. And so
that might be certifiable somewhere.
Yeah. So it's kind of what I do for everything. I just jump headfirst into everything. You can't learn without making mistakes.
Yeah.
And if you fall forward. So I do most of my own truck stuff, rotors, all that everything. I'll look at it myself and see if it's something I can do, because I'm pretty realistic. And what can I do? What's the worst thing I can do if I'm fixing something? Make it worse and have to hire somebody to help.
Which you were going to have to do anyway.
Right, exactly.
I think when it comes to campers, a big thing is if you buy a new one or if you have some type of warranty, don't go DIYing stuff and ruin your warranty.
No point.
I think that's pretty ridiculous. People do that. If you want to add solar, at least do it at the dealer so it could be warranted. You can get things added on with warranty, I guess. But I guess the best way to answer is we didn't always hike. We're from Florida. Mm-hmm. We just really fell in love with hiking and fell in love with getting outside. And it didn't start with 14-hour hikes. It started with,
oh my gosh, yeah.
An hour or two, not even 30 minutes. I remember we did a hike when we first hit the road in Georgia or something. Mm-hmm. And we were so worried about bears.
Was it? Oh, no.
It was that one where the girl was asking me, did you see any bears? I'm like, I didn't know there were bears here. We were so oblivious, but I really think it's putting yourself out there. You live one time. Time is so precious.
Yeah.
So get out and learn if this is a lifestyle that you want to do. And I also think it's good to be not the one person that knows how to do it, but I think it's good in my friend group. There's or our friend group from the road. There's only a handful of us that know stuff about trucks. So it's cool to be that friend that can
help other people.
The call. Hey, can you help me do this? I can help diagnose stuff over the phone, or at least try. And so I think the biggest thing is getting out there, trying to learn it, watch 3 YouTube videos. And most likely the person you're hiring, yes, they're a certified tech usually for everything that you want done in your truck or whatever. But I like to say they just have more experience than you. I feel everyone has the same opportunities in life to learn stuff. Mm-hmm. If I can change rotors, you can change rotors. You might not believe it, but I guarantee if you watch somebody do it 2 times and watch a YouTube video, you'd be out there changing your rotors. So I think that's for that. I know you're not believing me, but it's true.
No,
it's really
I do believe you.
It's really a simple thing. It's just you have to have
She's
patience.
been changing her rotors for years.
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
I did learn to rebuild a transmission when I was young.
But you get what I'm saying.
I had a ton of fun. I could have done that for a living.
You just watch. You just watch and you learn.
But you know what? I think what you're saying is nobody starts out knowing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Try it or don't.
Yeah.
You can pay somebody or you can try it.
Yeah.
And it really is about the choice.
Yeah.
But don't give up the dream if you want to get out there and have some adventure.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to know how to do everything.
Right.
You can learn what you want and get help with what you don't want to learn.
The fitness thing comes along. You don't need to start out in the gym. Like when you hit the road, the only really thing you're hitting the road for is to see the world and see our country or wherever you're hitting the road from. So you're going to want to get outside and see more because not everything's viewable from the road. Not everything's viewable from the trailhead. So you got to get moving.
Sometimes you got to get a little further.
Get moving those little feet. Get going. And it kind of goes in hand, like you said, about eating healthy and doing this. Like it just goes hand in hand because like in order to build up that physical strength to get out there for 14 hours, you can't be eating McDonald's all the time. I mean, moderation is everything, but you have to like take care of your body as well because you only get one. So
is it fair to say you're a different person now than you were when you got married and hit the road?
Yeah, 100%. I always think about that. Like,
should we put pictures in the notes as well?
Absolutely. I would love that.
It's just like
the things that we did and the things that we prioritized are so completely different than they are now. Like, yes, health and fitness is still such a big thing, but it's not like we're like, oh, we got to go in the gym every day.
Okay, but like the first year of travel, we like traveled based around like a normal life.
Because that's what we knew. Yeah. What we knew was like, going to the gym and, just doing our normal things that we did while living at home and living a normal life. And then once you start traveling and seeing things and meeting people who open your mind to different things, all of a sudden you're doing things you never thought you'd be doing. And you're like, whoa, I can't imagine my life differently now.
A life-changing hike that we did one time. We were in Colorado. We had our fifth wheel, the second big fifth wheel. And we met these young couple. Their name is Samantha and Samuel. So two Sams in a van.
Sam.
We have two Sams.
Yeah. These are two Sams that lived in a van together.
Yeah, that's funny.
And like
two Sams in a van?
Yeah, that was their name on Instagram. And or Sam's in a van or something. And we were staying at the same spot in Colorado and we ended up hanging out a few times and he likes whitewater rafting, like the hard stuff or kayaking.
Yeah.
And she really likes getting outside. She's hiked Kilimanjaro. She's hiked, I think, Everest Base Camp. Like she's hiked some cool stuff.
Crazy stuff.
After meeting her, she did all this. But one day we bought head first in everything I do. We wanted to go whitewater kayaking and I was like, let's go buy whitewater kayak and all this stuff. $1,400 later. We went whitewater kayaking once and it was twice and it was like a 3+, which is like the middle range of like harder.
Right.
And they took her out of the boat and I did it myself and she went in a raft with like
because it was
guys, like legit people. And then we put our stuff in the truck when we were done and Samantha looks over at us and she's talking to Samuel about a hike she's doing tomorrow and we had no idea what a 14er was. We're like, 14er, what is that? Yeah. She's like, you guys want to do a 14er tomorrow? Like, I don't know if you guys, do that. And we're like, I don't know what that is, but let's do it. And a 14er is hiking a mountain that's over 14,000 feet tall.
Right.
And we hiked our first 14er. We were so out of shape. Ashley cried the way up. She cried the way down. But it was
the hardest at the time. I think about it now.
Vertigo the whole time. The second we passed tree line, vertigo the entire. It's like, But
I remember at the time that being like the hardest thing I had done, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exhausting. You have vertigo going up. You're so high at elevation. You can like barely breathe. It's so hard as you're going like straight up rocks. Like it just was like
you're on your hands and your knees crawling up a mountain, and that really changed our perspective on like why we travel.
Well, but now it's just crazy because now looking at that, I'm like, well, I could probably just like be like, oh, we're going to do it tomorrow. And I could be like, okay, cool. Like, that's 100%. Fine. But at that time, like, it just was so foreign to me that it's crazy how like little things like that and people that you meet, all of a sudden you try something and you're like hooked on it and you're like, this is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, we don't really say no to anything outside. If someone wants to go rock climbing, which we've done in a gym twice, and we've done outside with her sister and her brother-in-law like 2 or 3 times now. Like we're kind of open to trying any outdoor activity. We always want to try new things that most likely won't kill us because what are you going to gain?
Most likely,
yeah.
If you go with people who know what they're doing, so we're completely different people.
Yeah.
Wow. So okay. What is the quote you were going to mention?
Well, I think mine is like, time is precious. It's been in my Instagram bio since like 2015, before we ever knew each other. And I just think it's like, I want to get it tattooed somewhere. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
Like,
time is precious.
People are living on borrowed time and they really think they're promised 5 minutes from now. They're promised tomorrow. Like everyone, that's my word for people on the road. If you want to do it because you're not promised tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was going to say Nike got it right.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Do it.
Yeah, stop waiting. Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Right.
People wait for the partner. People wait for the money. People wait for the time. But I'm sorry, you can't really wait for the time because you're not promised it. So the partner and money you want to wait for, it's fine, but you're not promised that either. You're promised nothing in life. So if you want to go get it, get after it.
And I think another quote too that we really like is like, if you were meant to stay in one place, you'd have root instead of feet. Like you'd have roots instead of feet. Like, but it's like we have feet and we have the freedom to like move around and go to different places and explore. And like, that's such a beautiful thing that I think people get so caught up in their everyday, like this is what I have to do today. This is what I have to do tomorrow. This is what like that. They just don't go out there and see things, and they get so stuck that it's like, yeah, it's great to be rooted in certain ways, but in a lot of ways, it's like there's so much freedom in just going out there and exploring our beautiful country. Like there's so much to see, so much to do, so many beautiful people to meet that you aren't going to meet if you're just doing the same thing every single day and never get out there.
I bet if we interviewed 20 different full-timers that have done what you did, they would all have different interests, different things that they really love to do, different styles. So get out there and you can do whatever it is that you find that you like.
Right. We live in America after all. You really could.
Yeah. I bet you've done some things and you said, nope, don't need to do that again.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Yeah. The American dream has definitely changed from what it was 10 years ago. And I truly feel like the biggest American dream you can have is the freedom of time and being able to choose what you do with it, or at least love what, at least if not love what you do. You know? Well,
I love what I do, and I love talking to you. It has been incredible. Thank you for your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
I have some news before we stop recording.
Okay.
Your camper's fixed.
Oh,
it was probably something pretty simple that everyone else
or
has to
they're
see.
just good and it was quick.
Like
or
I
we're
said,
amazing.
Yeah.
They've watched 4 more YouTube videos than me. No, I'm kidding. Okay. They're great here at Princess Craft. We've literally been here for, let's see.
Less than an hour, maybe an hour? I don't know how long.
Maybe a little
Probably
longer.
An hour and a half?
No.
I don't know what time we got here.
About an hour and a half, 2 hours, but we've been on here for about an hour and a half. So
yeah, that's true.
they killed it. Good job, guys.
We didn't say goodbye and hello.
We didn't do a thing. We just talked to you.
Yeah.
Let's go take some pictures of their camper. We'll put it in the show notes. And if you guys want to follow along, it is Our Full-Time Adventure on YouTube.
All socials.
Everything. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube.
All the
You
socials.
type it in on Google and we pop up everywhere.
Whoever you want.
Now, you could type in R or you could type in our.
Or you just, you are.
We were debating on how you pronounce it.
Yeah, is it our or our Full-Time Adventure?
Let us know in the
totally
comments.
Depends on where you live.
Comments below.
Yeah, let us know.
Well, thank you guys for listening to our rants because we typically like to do that. So
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a
talk a
great
lot.
story. So
there's more to it, but we'll have to wait for another time.
Yeah, you take a trip around America and then come see us again. We'll
There we
talk some
go.
more.
Sounds like a
Part
plan.
2.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.